What's going on, guys?
Rick and Christian.
And Christian.
Hey, Rick.
And Rick.
Listen, we have some breaking news for all FedEx Linehaul contractors. Listen up and listen good. Contrary to popular belief, we have just confirmed that Marsh and Protective are indeed two completely separate companies. You heard it
No
here
one else
first.
brings you this kind of
Mind blown.
news. There we go. Breaking.
We are uncovering. We are investigative journalists.
We get in deep. We uncover the dirty stories. Here we are.
How deep are we getting?
We're going to go deep, guys. Here we go. We have Amy. We have John. We have Jason. We have Al.
What up, guys?
So very quickly, John, can you tell us, what does Protective do?
Sure. Protective is the insurance for the carrier, and our group specifically provides the safety services for FedEx ground service providers in the areas where you would like to have your own personal safety consultant on board. That's what the services we offer to mitigate or eliminate not only accidents or collisions, but also injuries.
Got it. Jason, tell us about you.
Yeah,
and then tell us about Marsh.
Jason. So Marsh, we're the biggest broker in the world, but we have a customized FedEx solution product that we've put together the last 15 years now. So it is a lot of consultative risk, evaluating where the risk is, how do we solve it, and create that peace of mind in a pamphlet for you to walk away. So at the end of the day, you get an accident, something happens, driver's taken care of, business is running, everything's still functioning appropriately.
And when it comes to Marsh, and remember, like the contractors that are going to be watching this, that relationship, it was confusing to me at first. It was, okay, I'm a FedEx contractor and I go to Marsh because they are the exclusive insurance, but there's also other insurance companies, but then they still have to go back to Marsh to approve the insurance. What in the hell is that relationship? Can you give us a little more specifics?
Yeah, so
Getting into it.
We manage the insurance verification aspect for FedEx, so they have certain requirements that they require their contractor owners to maintain coverage. So we will do, depending on who your insurance is through, it'll come to us, and then we validate that you meet all those requirements on behalf of FedEx. And then we also provide auto liability, workers' compensation through our good friends over at Protective.
Okay.
Amy, John, I'm a new contractor. I got to, make sure my safety is in place. I'm coming to you. What's our first conversation like?
My first question is usually asking if you have any experience in it, because some of these guys do, and then they take over a route, or they have none at all. And then we start looking at whatever their safety plan is, or their book for FedEx, and try to kind of ping at the things that we can do first for them, whether it's training, auditing, or just doing like JHAs and trying to help them out.
Okay, and so you got contractors coming to you. What do you see as being the biggest safety issue?
Slips, trips, and falls, number one by far.
So me around the truck, or just me being on the clock? And
Anywhere, once you step foot on FedEx property or on duty, that's where you're subject to potential for an injury.
how do I stop someone from falling?
Some of the best practices over time are 3 points of contact in and out of a vehicle. And Marsh, as they partner with us on this, is slip-resistant footwear. So what that does is can actually eliminate a slip on those freshly waxed office floors, or that concrete dock with water on it, they get like ice. These slip-resistant shoes can eliminate that part of the injury, a potential injury.
So things I don't even think of will obviously brought up for someone coming to you guys. Now,
Are you doing this entire interview? I'm not sure, because you seem to be the only one talking.
I can do it all, guys. So,
Let me ask you guys this question. When it comes to Marsh, you guys are getting that phone call from that contractor. They're just getting stand-up. They just got their V number. They have a million things to think about. They're getting insurance. What do you want them thinking about to run the most successful business? What advice advice can you give to someone? Say, hey man, you got all this shit to worry about, but let's focus on this.
So when they're starting, obviously compliance is really important to make sure that they have the correct coverages and correct contracts in place. But to John Amy's point, also make sure that you have, and it's been talked about a couple of times, is having a handbook or a safety program in place so that you're setting the precedent, right? Because from the get-go, it's too late once you've already started your company and then say, oh, by the way, we're going to talk about safety. It's got to be from the word go, and that's one of the things that we've done, in partnership with Protective Insurance. Is Marsh has looked at developing and creating resources to assist a new contractor or somebody who's a veteran who's been in business for a long time. We provide solutions, whether that be the types of insurance coverage solutions or safety resources or outreach. We have platforms that are available for use so that you don't have to pick up the phone or send an email. There's a lot of self-service that is now in place, and with the competitive rates, we've been able to find quite a bit of cost savings for contractors, not only the new ones, but some of those who were in the program in the past and now are coming back to the program. But one of the things you were asking, what do you tell a new person when they have all of this to worry about, is we're going to be there with you every step of the way, right? We're going to make sure that your contracts and your policies, your vehicles, all of that is compliant with what you need to do in order to be able to run from day one.
Awesome. Okay. And is there any you mentioned like a safety handbook, providing that. Anything that Marsh recommends where people go to get that material?
Yes, we created in partnership with Protective Insurance several years ago a safety program sample guide.
Okay.
That is not, it's not a cut and paste, right? It has to be, it has to be your program so that, here's kind of a skeleton and outline, and here are the things that you should look at, and maybe all of these things apply, and maybe, just some of them apply, but, making that your program, because, at the end of the day, whatever's in writing, whatever you're giving to your team, that's what you believe in, right? And so we made it very all-encompassing so that you could pick all the pieces out of it that apply to your business and make sure that as you continue to operate, that you are using that, and it's a living, breathing document, right? Because a safety program is kind of like think of an insurance ID card. You don't just get it once and then set it and forget it. You're constantly reviewing your coverages. It's the same thing with a safety program. It has to be. It's a living, breathing document. As you grow, as you shrink, as you move into new states, maybe you go from just Linehaul to maybe adding some P&D operations. There's a lot of evolution when it comes to that program. But all of that, again, with the coverages and and insurance, insurance is not something that people really like to talk about, but it's necessary, right? I mean, that's how we keep the general public safe. So we have the physical damage and non-trucking liability. We have the workers' compensation, employment practice liability insurance, which is a new required coverage, for wrongful termination and harassment